Hey cuties, Peachy here, welcome back to a new video, and in this video, to prepare for the recent 4th installment in the Disney Descendants franchise with The Rise of Red, I went back and rewatched the original trilogy that's almost 10 years old now. Yeah, so we will be judging each movie by different categories, talking about how well they have aged and how well they have not in some ways. Yes, I'm also going to be talking about the animated short, The Royal Wedding, which was a doozy. Then of course, we'll be talking in-depth spoilers and talking about the ending and what that means for the 4th movie and how it seems to be already setting up a brand new trilogy in the franchise with a brand new cast of characters. So stay tuned to subscribe and let's get into it. Also important to note is that the original trilogy, they were all directed by Kenny Ortega, who, if you don't know, is a Disney Channel legend. Like he made the High School Musical movies, right? So yeah, he's been in the game for a long time, and honestly, yeah, it has his stamp all over the movie, like all over the original trilogy, but also like this movie specifically, you can just feel like his hands all over all over the movie. Obviously the music is like amazing, but surprisingly, like only Rotten to the Core, for me at least, like is stuck out. Like to me, that's a good song. It's still good, but I think, you know, with the later movies, the music really starts to get a little bit better and catchier and like actual, you know, bops. So the first movie soundtrack is okay. Then the plot, you know, it's a great setup, honestly, the plot, how they wrote the story and like, you know, set up the whole, you know, like the Auradon and then the kingdom, and then we have the island, the Isle of the Lost, right? So it was a great setup, and then we have the VKs, the villain kids, obviously Maleficent, Jafar, Cruella, and the evil queen. Their kids go to Auradon Prep, then they have to steal the wand, but obviously along the way they realize that they're not actually evil. Like their parents, they are their own people, their own human beings. They don't have to be like their parents and evil. So, you know, at the end, it's all good. They don't actually steal the wand. And then obviously Maleficent, let's not forget, she was played by Kristen Chenoweth, right? A legend on Broadway. Amazing vocals, really. Her song, like Evil Like Me, it's a fun song, okay? But I feel like, you know, her vocals are amazing, but like to me, that song didn't really stick with me. Like it's not like a bop. It was just more engineered to be like a duet, kind of like with Mal. You know, really, it's trying to show us the, you know, the kind of like the differences, but also like the similarities with Mal and her mom, obviously. But I speaking of her, I think she was great as Maleficent. And of course, we also have the other parents of the VK, the villain kids. Then we also have the Auradon Prep people with Ben, who is soon to be king. He's obviously the son of the Beast, and Belle. So fun. I mean, so seriously, like you can tell the production wasn't like they didn't really have a high budget. You can tell like the crowns look cheap. Some of the props, some of the locations, it's very green screen heavy, but you know, it has a charm. I don't know how to explain it, but you know, it's just Disney Channel movies back in the day, they don't make them like that anymore. They just for better or worse, they just don't look the same. They are not the same anymore. So I don't know, the first one to me just has a charm. We also have like the kids from Mulan, the fairy godmother, Jane and Lonnie, also Aubrey, who, you know, is the daughter of Aurora, the Sleeping Beauty. I feel like they could have done more with all of those like fairy tale children of you know, like, you know, character, like iconic characters like Sleeping Beauty. Like I feel like they could have done more of those characters, like the children of like legendary fairy tale heroes, princesses, etc. Like I feel like they didn't really do too much. But on the other side, I guess it's really meant to be like a story about the villain, the VKs, not the actual, like, you know, it's their story, not the story of the you know, the Auradon Prep people. So yeah, you know what, I enjoyed the first movie. I don't know why, I just did. So the performances for me, Dove Cameron, obviously, I feel like she did a great job. I don't know if this was like her, I don't think so, because obviously she had a show, Liv and Maddie, right, on Disney Channel, so she's been in the Disney stuff, Disney sphere before, and for me, like, she sold it. Like, I loved her, like, her face acting. She really sold it, in my opinion. I also loved the costumes, especially for Evie. Some of those costumes, adorable, just really fashionable, but they were really just getting started, you know what I mean? Like, you can tell, like, with the other movies, like, they got better and better in some cases. We also have Cameron Boyce, who, of course, you know, after the third installment, unfortunately, you know, I'm not really sure even like what actually happened, but he did pass, unfortunately, and that's why he's that's also one of the reasons why Dove Cameron and the original cast are not going to return for any other movies in the future. So that's why we also, you know, we have a new cast in the fourth movie, but we'll get to that when we get to that. Anyways, so Cameron as Carlos, Boo Boo Stewart as Jey, you know, I feel like their performances, they were also like really good, but they were just getting started. I feel like they really didn't have too much to do. Like, Carlos had his new dog, you know, Jey, he had his new love for like sports, so they each had like a thing to latch on to. But like, you know, and Evie had fashion, so, and Mal, you know, I guess she had Ben, because they become a couple. By the way, I love them as a couple. Like, I actually feel like they work. They have good chemistry. I don't know what it is. I feel like they also just get better. The chemistry just gets better with every movie that comes out. So it really sucks that we'll probably never get to see them again on screen in a future installment. So, oh my God, really sucks. Because, like, especially with the royal wedding being the last actual, like, production that both actors were in and both characters are going to be in, probably, it really sucks that that's the way that they, you know, went off and are never gonna return. But yeah, so I feel like the first movie, good music, but it gets better with the other two. The production was just getting started. Same with the costuming and like some of the, you know, like the story, plot, the beats. It's pretty basic, but it gets a job done. And also it's setting up a whole brand new world, which I feel like that's also, you know, like a movie needs to really set up a good world where, you know, we can actually like believe what's happening in the world. So I feel like they had to lay the groundwork, which they did a good job. I feel like enough. So yeah, the story was okay. The performances were great. And overall, I really actually enjoyed the first movie. Then the second movie came out 2 years after, and the music, first of all, amazing. Like, there's actually like bops on the soundtrack. Like, for me, my favorites are Ways to Be Wicked, definitely better in my opinion than Rotten to the Core from the first movie. What's My Name, obviously from Uma, iconic, you know, villain song. And then also Chillin' Like a Villain. I just felt like I don't know, the music, it just hits different. Like, the second movie music is actually like good, you know, like it's great pop. It's like just the beats, and then like just, it's really well done. I don't know what to say. Some Disney pop, you know, beats, some songs are actually good sometimes. So and then of course the story, as we all know, Uma enters the picture, you know, after Mal and Ben are now an item. But you know, Mal gets a little bit overwhelmed with all of her new duties, and she's blonde now, and then she's later, you know, purple again with hair, and she has a you know, new bob, you know, bangs. So you know, yeah, she, you know, I feel like she gets a lot of, you know, like she gets overwhelmed, and then Ben like doesn't see that she's overwhelmed. Like, I feel like that would be kind of obvious. Like, this is her life now, and she's like a royal person, and like it can be a lot. So I feel like, you know, Ben, like, what are you doing? You should have noticed. But then, you know, obviously we also have some of the Oradon prep people are back with Chad. I forgot to mention Chad. Yeah, like he's a douche. Basically, he's just like a you know, football kind of like like a jerk jock, like a jock jerk. But yeah, he's yeah, like Evie says, there's not much up there, you know. But speaking of Evie, I love her romance with Doug. Like, so cute. I love that. Jade is in the second movie too, as is Lonnie, who has some more to do, which is also really fun. She actually seems to be like hitting on Jey. They I don't know why, but I feel like they flirt, right? So that's really cute. It kind of sucks that they never really do anything with that chemistry, like the Jey and Lonnie, like Lonnie, the Mulan's daughter. So I wish that they would have given them a little bit more to do in like the third movie. But it was cute, I guess, while it lasted in this movie. Jey, speaking of, he is a new captain at first from the like new team. That's really fun. It's like they each found their space in a school. Except for Mal, who just feels very, again, overwhelmed from all her duties and feeling like having to be perfect all the time because, she's now, everyone's looking at her and she has to do everything right. She can't, make mistakes. So, of course, because she's overwhelmed, she returns to the Isle of the Lost, and there Ben gets kidnapped while trying to rescue Mal. So, and then Uma, that's how Uma enters the picture. She kidnaps Ben, and then, Ben and Uma, I don't know, I don't see it, but I can definitely tell why people feel like they will be cute together as well. So yeah, and then, Ben gets rescued, and then Mal, at the end, they have like this grand feast, which I think actually is supposed to, commemorate like Mal becoming a royal lady. I forget the terms, but like it's a party. It's a party on a boat, and you know what's gonna happen next? Uma gets all squiddy. She crashes the party. She pulls that Little Mermaid, Vanessa on us. She's got Ben all wrapped around her finger. And then Ben, Mal breaks the spell by kissing Ben, and then they're back together. And then Uma's like nope, and then she she gets like all squiddy in the water. Mal turns into a dragon, and then of course at the end, I don't know why, but Uma just like she just vanishes. Like she's like nope, I'm gonna go. like they knew the runtime was only gonna last for so long, so they were like, Uma, you can just go away now, thank you. Like you did your job, you'll be back in the next movie for sure. So I don't know, I just feel like a little bit anticlimactic the way that they finished that story with Uma in the second movie, but okay. And then like at the very end, obviously it's all well, it's all great, and then there's a party, because every movie so far in the trilogy has ended with a dragon and a party. So that's just how we're gonna do it from now on. So yeah, the story was okay. I love the new characters. I did. Uma is a great addition. And obviously she's proven to be a great addition in the long term as well, because obviously she's one of the only returning characters from the original trilogy to appear in the fourth movie. So she's definitely a great character that they've added in the for the long run. Like she's a great value character for sure. And then we have Hook, played Hook's son Harry, and then we have Gil, Gaston's son. They were like Uma's little henchmen, really cute. They're both like Gil, like Gaston's kid. He's like he's a little bit of an airhead, but cute. And then Harry and Uma, actually I feel like they have a little thing going on, but like they don't. So yeah, I feel like overall the music was good. The production became a lot better. I love the set design with the boat, like the whole battle sequence. That was really fun. And then we also had, oh my god, dude, we got the dog that Carlos has in the first movie. He learns to talk because of like a gummy bear that Mal was gonna give to Carlos to help Carlos confess his feelings to Jane, who he has feelings for. Amazing. So yeah, because Carlos likes Jane, fairy godmother's daughter. And that's really cute, by the way. I love their relationship. It was really fun. But of course, the gummy bear, gets eaten by Dude, the dog, Carlos's dog. And I have to say, I don't love that there's a talking dog in these movies, but I guess it's, what are you gonna do? The demographic is kids, they gotta hold their attention span somehow, so we got a talking dog. It's Beverly Hills Chihuahua all over again, yes. But yeah, I have to say that costumes got much better. I loved some of the dresses here. Audrey's absent in this movie, surprisingly, because, but we do get to see her in the third movie, so of course, and I think overall, I don't know what else to say. I feel like I've said everything. The music's better, the plot, predictable, but I feel like I love the twist where, at the end with Uma being like Vanessa from The Little Mermaid. Like, I like that a lot. And then I liked Ben and Mal's relationship growing more. And Evie, I love, again, Evie and Doug, so cute. I ship him. Evie's fashions, and Dizzy, you know, Dizzy, how could I forget her? Dizzy is the daughter of Drizella, I believe, who's obviously the daughter of the Lady Tremaine from Cinderella. So that's also something new. She was really fun, but Anna Cathcart, who plays Dizzy, she didn't have much to do. She was just like in a couple of scenes, but she does also appear in the third movie. So overall, good sequel. I think in a lot of ways better because of Uma. I feel like Uma really does help out the second movie for sure. Then we have the third movie, and this one was very exciting. I feel like a lot of the people involved said it was going to be the biggest movie so far, and it definitely felt like a bigger event for sure. So the story goes that Mel, now with Ben, has more responsibilities, and they're actually opening up the borders for the Isle of the Lost to even more VKs to enter to Aradon Prep and to, you know, get a chance in life. So one of those kids is Dizzy from the second movie, and then we also have Celia, the daughter of Dr. Facilier. Now Celia specifically plays a bigger role in also later in the story. So in this movie, we also find out that Hades is actually, you know, Mal's dad, and he has like the Embers of Flame, which Mal will also need to, you know, later combat the evil of this story, which is Audrey. Audrey feels jealous of Mal, and, you know, she feels like, you know, Mal basically stole everything that she wanted for herself, you know, Ben, the royal title, being queen, away from her, and so now she's out for revenge, and she even steals, you know, Maleficent's scepter, and she goes full-on villain, and she has a new costume, a new little crown, and, you know, I gotta say, I do like her song, Queen of Mean. It's a bop. I like it. Sarah Jeffrey, I really haven't talked about her much yet, but I feel like she's really good as Audrey, and I feel like, you know, she's really good in this role. Like, I don't know, I feel like, yeah, I'm not sure if it was like expected of Audrey to become like a villain, but I definitely feel like it is a good twist to, you know, make one of the, you know, traditional good kids into the villain. Like, I just feel like, yeah, it was fun to see, you know. I feel like, is it predictable? I guess, but, you know, it's still fun to see. So that was really fun. Yes, fun. And then of course we also have you know, Mal, who, because of, you know, her involvement with Ben, they're soon to be wed, and Mal has a lot of responsibilities. She is feeling the weight of it all, and she, because of that, later on has to even lie to her VK friends, you know, Jey, Carlos, and Evie about closing the borders of the Isle of the Lost. I don't know, I don't think I liked the story as much. It did feel a little bit discombobulated, but I guess they were trying to get the characters to do a lot of different things at once. We also had a lot of different subplots with, you know, Chad and Audrey, and then we had Doug and Evie, and then we also had Dizzy, and then like the other, you know, new VK transfers, and then we also had, you know, obviously Ben and Mal, their relationship. We had, I feel like, you know, Carlos and Jey, they really got, you know, they were like thrown on the backseat, like they were just not, they didn't really have too much to do, so they're really a little bit disappointing. Also Jane, and we also have Jane, Hook, Harry, and Gil, who are usually Uma's friends, you know, obviously. They also don't have a lot to do by the end of the movie. Like, they kind of disappear. But Uma's there. You know, yes, Uma returns. She helps. You know, I do like seeing Uma and Mal, like, you know, rekindle their relationship. They, you know, become better friends, which obviously makes sense because, you know, by the beginning of the fourth movie, Uma is actually made into the headmistress of Aradon Prep. So yay. So yeah, I think, you know, was this, I don't think I love the story, but the production design definitely got an upgrade. The budget, also the costuming. At one point they all look like they're wearing like racing outfits, like just like, you know, like big latex like pieces. You know, like it kind of looked like, yeah, like racer suits. I don't know if I like it or not. I feel like it's a little bit, you know, I don't like it. I don't know. It kind of works when they're actually, you know, riding their motorcycles to go to the Isle of the Lost, obviously. But, you know, when they're walking around in the woods, to me, I feel like they should have just gotten, you know, a wardrobe change, perhaps. I feel like the costumes, not much of costume change in this movie, surprisingly. Like the whole gang, you know, Uma, Harry, Gil, Evie, you know, Carlos, Jey, like all of them, they basically have the same costume for like 50% of the movie, like you know. And I feel like compared to the other two movies, they always had like, they more often had, you know, costume changes. But I feel like this movie, because it is really like a journey, like it's really like an adventure. Like they have to do like plot 1 to plot 2. They have to, you know, acquire this certain thing to do this certain thing. They have to look here and there. So yeah, you know, it's a little bit like that. You know, by the end also, Hades actually, you know, saves Audrey from eternal slumber, I guess, you know, after, you know, she's saved from the scepter, whatever. You know, and obviously, you know, Audrey and everyone, they're all friends again by the end for the dance party. And then also by the end, Mal declares the borders to be open for the I Love the Lost forever. So that's gonna be great and not cause any problems whatsoever, for sure, for future movies. So yeah, I feel like the story could have been better. I do love the songs, by the way. Some of the better songs from this soundtrack are Good to Be Bad. Definitely probably like the best one out of the trilogy for like the quintessential, like, you know, evil songs for the movie. And then we have Queen of Mean, which I said before. Do What You Gotta Do, which is a duet with Hades as well. And, you know, Hades and Mal, they have a little duet, father-daughter duet. So cute, actually, like so cute, like their little grove. I liked it a lot. And then Night Falls and One Kiss, also really sweet. So the music was good. The performances, really great. I feel like Dove, I feel like one of the reasons why the trilogy is so beloved, and I feel like they just really are a nice trilogy overall, is because Dove really just, it's a great role here. She's great as Mal, you know, like, and Evie, Sophia Carson, like I feel like the original 4, they really just lift up those movies like much more than I feel like they are actually worth, you know. So I feel like they are really one of the reasons why the movies really did well. It's because they are just great casting overall. The music here, like I mentioned, really good. Production, really good. Costuming got better. And yeah, I feel like, was this a good way to go out with the original trilogy? Yeah, you know, in my opinion, I liked Audrey as the villain. The story could have been a little bit more, you know, streamlined. I don't know. Carlos and Jane, so cute. But then, yeah, we have the Royal Wedding animated short. It's like 20 minutes. It's not really a movie. It's like a longer short, I guess. And this is basically just like, yeah, showing us how the wedding went for Mal and Ben. Now, one positive thing that I am able to say is that all of the original actors who played the live action characters actually return in this little special to voice their respective actors. So, you know, Dove Cameron, Sophia Carson, they're all back here in this animated short to voice their respective characters. So that's amazing. That's great. Thank you. But then now we have the bad. So the bad is everything else. Like the animation is really bad here. It's not even like, it barely qualifies as animation. Like the frames, like there's like, so like it's so laggy, and like it's really not fluid at all, the animation. Like you can tell like the budget just was not there. Also, it almost makes me feel like, why did they even like release it? Like, why not like just, you know, put like a little bit more money into this short? Like it really could have been cuter than it ended up being. But then I do have to say, there's nothing special about this aside for the actual wedding taking place like that. It was fine. It was cute. At least we can see, yeah, like at least we can say that, yeah, they got married. It's official. But like the one other thing that definitely like was the best thing out of the entire short was that they actually mentioned Carlos, because Carlos is absent in this movie. He's not here because obviously Cameron Boyce had already passed by the time that they made this short, unfortunately, so he's not here. But it does, I feel like it really does mean a lot to hear the original voice, the original actors actually talk about Carlos's character here in this little short, and just acknowledge that he's not here. You know, like they don't explain how he went away, like you know, what happened to him. They don't say anything. They don't have to really. But just them acknowledging, like, I wish Carlos was here. Like it really touched me, like when Mal said that, like I wish Carlos was here. And then, you know, Jey and Evie, they have a little group hug. Like it really meant a lot. Like it was something small, but like it definitely meant a lot to us who who actually care. So that was like the only good thing about this entire short. Otherwise, you do not have to watch it. Also, I'm not going to be talking about the animated series that had like 2 seasons, like Wicked World. Girl, I'm not going to talk about like 2-minute episodes, okay? I got no time for that. Okay, and now let's talk about the 4th edition, Rise of Red, that actually just came out last week, so better go watch it on Disney Plus right now. So, if you're wondering, Kenny Ortega is not involved in this movie, and unfortunately, it was a little bit obvious. Like, I could feel the absence of Kenny Ortega, you know. I feel like, he's not here. You can feel his absence for sure. I feel like, could it have been better if he was involved? Yes, I think he could have made it a little bit better of a movie, but unfortunately, we'll never know. I don't know. I'm also not sure why he wasn't directing this movie, like, right? Like, maybe, I don't know. I really don't know, but I just, I feel like he could have perhaps, you know, elevated the material to some degree. But first of all, let's talk about something, you know, good. So the music, good music. Red, amazing song. I love it. You know, Seeing Red, great song. Then Love Ain't It by Rita Ora, good song. We also have like Bridget's song, like when they're walking through the school, solid, preppy, cute. But overall, like, not a lot of the songs like really stuck with me, aside for like Seeing Red. Like, that is a good song for sure, but like that's really the only song I can say like amazing, you know what I mean? And we also have like a new rendition of Uma's like What's My Name, but that's a little bit of it's cheating, because like it's not a new song, it's just a reiteration of you know, like a, you know, reissue version of that song. So first of all, if you're wondering, they do mention Carlos here and the original gang, and they do explain as to like why they're not here. So apparently for Mal and Ben and Evie and Jay, they've all gone on a cruise around the, you know, the globe or whatever. They're visiting other fairy tale lands to I guess to ensure prospects, like, just, I don't know, they're not here obviously because of actual reasons, but in the movie reasoning is that they're just away on business, basically, on royal business. And Jay and Evie are just, they went with them because why wouldn't they? But Uma is left behind, and you know, Uma gets she's the new headmistress of Ordon Prep, and actually we get to hear from her what happened to Carlos. Like, again, they don't actually mention like or explain what actually happened to him, but you know, we do get a little scene of her, you know, like when she tells the fairy godmother to send an invitation letter to Wonderland's you know, Princess Red, you know, daughter of the Queen of Hearts, which apparently was you know, closed off for some while now because they're like dangerous. They're a dangerous magical land. Like, they just don't talk about the Wonderland, and I don't know, they have their reasons, but they don't like that place. So they close it off, the rabbit hole. So when Uma is talking about, you know, getting the invitation to Princess Red to, you know, invite her to Ordon Prep, she also says that it would have been like Carlos would have wanted this. He would have wanted to invite more, you know, to give more kids VKs a second chance in life. So that's, I mean, and you could tell like the actual, like, you know, actress who plays Uma, she you know, China and McLean, you can actually tell like she was actually moved. Like, those were real tears, and it really goes to show you that they actually, like, you know, his passing actually meant something. Like, it was it is a big deal. Like, it's a big deal, and so you could actually tell like how much she really meant to all of the actual actors involved. And I feel like that's also why she returned to this movie, Uma, the character, you know, because she could have said no. Yeah, like the actress China, she could have said no. She could have been like, nope, I'm not gonna return to any future installments, just like my other co-stars. But no, she said, you know what, I'm gonna be here, I'm gonna be involved, I'm gonna, you know, do a little cameo here. And she delivered this line perfectly. Like, she, you know, I feel like she's the perfect person to have said that, you know, about Carlos, and just like, you know, just delivered that so emotionally, and like the tear, and like you could just tell like, yeah, it means something, and it's big. So I'm happy that she was here. And then of course the plot, it starts. So you know, Red, daughter of Queen of Hearts, yay. She feels imprisoned by her own mom. There's a lot of rules, and like there's a curfew in the land of Wonderland, and like the Queen of Hearts is very strict. You know, she beheads people, of course. So, you know, but we do learn that of course the Queen of Hearts has a past, and she has a trauma from her high school years, that's why she is the way that she is. So That's one of the big reasons, right? So, yeah, so, you know, Rita Ora plays the Queen of Hearts, and I feel like she does a good job. She, I don't know, I've seen Rita Ora in other movies like 50 Shades, and also in the Pokemon movie, the Detective Pikachu, so she's been in other movie projects, but I'm not sure if she's like if she is an actual actress, like if she wants to be an actor, you know, like, or if these are just like little passion projects that she likes to, you know, dip her toes into the acting world from you know, time to time. So I'm not sure, because her acting is good here, but I mean I could definitely tell, like, you know, she's a singer first, you know, and she's perhaps an actor second, you know, but she you know, she delivers, she's good, and her costumes, okay, they were actually good. She has, the Queen of Hearts has like 2 costumes or so, not too many, but I feel like the one that they actually make her, like the one that they put the doll in, is the most iconic for sure. Yeah, Brandy as Cinderella returns, of course, in this movie, which is amazing. She only has one costume though, so that's a little bit disappointing, but her dress is really pretty, but her role here is really just a cameo. Like, she's in like 2 scenes and that's it. So the Queen of Hearts has more to do than Brandy Cinderella, which to me I feel like should be the other way around, because, you know, Brandy Cinderella, it's already an established role from the movie before, so I don't know, but still, you know, Rita Ora and Brandy, they're really here for just a couple of scenes, so really, if you're just watching it for them, I don't know if it's worth it, but they do what they gotta do and they do it well. Then we also have Prince Charming, the original Prince Charming from Brandy's Cinderella movie. He returns. Amazing. They have a cute little family scene at the beginning, so really fun. And then we also have the fairy godmother who returns. That's really, her actress, she's always delightful. She's really delightful to watch. She always is like a bibbidi bobbidi, you know. And then of course we also have Red, Kylie Cantrell, and we have Chloe, Malia Baker. They're the new protagonists basically of this new era of movies. So and I feel like as new protagonists, are they good replacements, you know, in other words, for, you know, the original cast? I'm not sure. You know, the original, we had 4, you know, cast, like Carlos, Jey, Evie, Mal. Here we only have so far, you know, Chloe and Red. Maybe we'll get more characters added in a sequel, but for now I feel like Red, she's cool, she's fun. I like her costumes. Chloe, you know, she's cool too. I like her costumes too. I don't like it more than the original, I'm sorry. Like, I like the original trilogy's costumes more. It just felt like in this movie the costumes were a lot of pants and like just stuff that you could more realistically, I guess, attain, which is not a bad thing per se, but just I feel like the magical aspect really just kind of lacked in this movie, like with the costumes and stuff. So I don't know, maybe it's just me, but yeah. Then the production, the set design, they do have a new Rodon Prep building. Like, it's not the same castle exterior that we had for the previous movies. It is a new one here, which definitely also did not help to make it feel more like at home for me. Like, for, you know, like it feels like a really, like a departure for sure from the original trilogy. And then yeah, the plot, I mean, what can I say? It's a time plot, like a time travel plot. So basically the Queen of Hearts, the Red Queen of Hearts, she is staging a coup to take over of Rodon Prep, when, you know, she gets invited with her daughter to you know, when Red gets invited to attend Rodon Prep, but then because Red has a pocket watch to turn back time that Maddox Hatter, the son of the Mad Hatter, gave her before, she goes back in time with Chloe as well, daughter of Cinderella, of course. By the way, Chad is Chloe's brother. I don't know how that technically works, like, realistically. Like, I don't, because Brandy would be Chad's mom, but is he adopted? Because I don't think he doesn't, like, is Chad's, like, actor mixed? Because I don't know, I thought he's Caucasian, so I don't know how that works, but okay. So maybe he's adopted, maybe Chad is adopted, you know, maybe, I don't know. Because yeah, so I don't know how it realistically works out, but anyways, it's magic, who cares. what was I saying? Right. So Cinderella, Chloe's daughter, they both go back in time to revisit the old academy, which back then was called Merlin Academy. You know, of course, Merlin was the headmaster back then. And the fairy godmother back then was a student. Her name was Faye. So really cute. Other, teen versions of iconic characters. We have teen Jasmine, teen Aladdin, who we also see their older versions of in the actual like coup scenes. I didn't even know that was them until the credits. So they could have really done more with them. The teen versions of Aladdin and Jasmine have like a little line in the overall song when they go to the high school. But they really don't have anything to do. Like I feel like they really missed the mark. They're basically cameos. Like, oh yeah, look, Aladdin, Jasmine, they're here too. Yay! And Zelly, she's also here. She's the daughter of Rapunzel, but she doesn't even have like a speaking line. She's only there. She only appears in like a couple of scenes. And if you wouldn't know that that's Rapunzel's daughter, if you hadn't known beforehand, you wouldn't have known. She's just like completely out of the picture. Like you wouldn't know anything about her. So really, I feel like they missed the mark. The young Prince Charming doesn't look like the Prince Charming at all. He also has like weird gray streaks in his hair that make him look older. I don't know if it's like a stylistic choice, but to me, it just didn't really make him look good at all. I feel like it just didn't really do anything for his features. So it just, I don't know. The gray streaks, like, what are we doing here? Why he's a teenager? Why does he have gray hair? But anyways, he's a skater boy, so he's cool. And we also see obviously the younger versions of Cinderella, Ella, and then we also have Bridget, who is the younger version of the Queen of Hearts. So there we go. And I feel like Bridget and Ella has actually more scenes in this movie than Bridget does. And Bridget has like she appears in the high school, setting up scene, and then she has her own little scene where she's in pajamas, but that's it. She has like 2 scenes. Ella, we see her in like 4 scenes, I believe. They go to her stepmother's house, when she's cleaning. But I feel like the story really lackluster. Like when they go back in time, they establish all the, teenage versions of iconic characters. We also have Maleficent and Hades. We have the son of Morgana, Morgie. We have the young version of Hook. And then Uliana, Ursula's younger sister, and they have a song. Obviously when they're establishing the high school, they have lines in a song, but aside for Uliana, all of like her VK henchmen Goonie cast, they don't have much to do. Like Maleficent and Hades, they're just there. They have nothing to do. Morgie, I guess they set him up to be like an airhead, but like he has no character development at all. As such with Hook as well, like he has nothing to do. Like, so for me, like, how disappointing. Like Uliana is the only one who we kind of know a little bit about her, because also she has the most beef with Bridget. So but yeah, like Maleficent, Hades, Hook, Morgie, like all of these characters, Zelly, Jasmine, Aladdin, Prince Charming, like Bridget and Ella too, like I feel like we really like they wanted to make it so iconic with all these, iconic named characters, but at the end of the day, it doesn't mean a lot when they don't have any character development and they're just like, hollow paper cutouts of those characters. So it really fell flat for me. I don't know. And then the ending, obviously. So oh my gosh, I haven't even told you the plot yet. So okay, get ready. It's the most Mean Girls high school plot ever. So the reason why Bridget was traumatized in high school and why she turned out to be so mean, and in her older version, is because Uliana played a prank on her at homecoming or home crowning, whatever. That's like basically like the prom dance equivalent. And why would Uliana want to prank Bridget and embarrass her in front of everyone at a prom dance? Well, because Bridget was giving out cupcakes to everyone because she likes to bake. And Uliana ate all of the feathers, which proved to be like really not good. So she turns into a bird basically, and that's why she she felt like embarrassed, and then she She wanted to get revenge on Bridget by giving her a bad cupcake and making her into a monster, and you know, in front of everyone at the homecoming dance. So basically, yeah, we've seen this plotline so many times before, and it's even worse because we don't actually get to see the actual dance itself. Like, they only ever tell us about the dance. But basically, at the end, the whole like climax is that they steal a cooking book that would have had the recipe that Uliana would have needed to, you know, curse Bridget and, like, you know, turn her into a monster. Red and Chloe steal the book first, and then because there's like a hex on the book on whoever opens it first, Uliana, who steals it after Red gets the book from Merlin's library, Uliana opens the book first, and so she gets frozen into the hex, and then she, you know, she gets exposed, and then Merlin finds Uliana and her gang like stealing the book and not Red and Chloe. So Red opens the book after, but because it's her, it doesn't really matter, and so nothing happens to her. I don't know, it's plot convenience basically. And so now they have the book, and Uliana cannot play the prank on Bridget. So that's the whole climax. That is the whole climax. That is like 10 minutes before the end of the movie. I kid you not. Like, I was standing there wondering, when is the homecoming gonna happen? Are we gonna see the party? No, we don't see any of that. It felt so rushed to me. Like, I was so disappointed. And then they basically just go back in time to the present. Cinderella is still alive. Yeah, because by the way, Cinderella actually gets, you know, beheaded. Oh my god! So, oh my god, I know! So she actually, you know, the Queen of Hearts was not playing around. Like, she actually gets Cinderella, you know, beheaded in the original timeline. But then, of course, because they changed the timeline, they changed it, and Cinderella's fine again. She's alive. Oh my god! But how macabre, right? And then the Queen of Hearts, yeah, she's nice now. She's nice now, and you can tell that she's nice because her originally red dress from the beginning is now white in the center. She has like a little bit of white highlights in her hair. She has like a white crown, and now she's all playful and happy. So yeah. And that's the end. I kid you not. Like, that's the end, and Muva narrates the ending saying like, oh, you thought that was the end? Well, haha, see you in 2 years again when we have Disney Descendants #5. So yeah, I don't know what's gonna happen. What would the next movie be about? Like, what would it be about? I have no idea. What I do know is that they do have a ton of new characters that they could do something with. Like, we have teenage versions of Morgie, Aladdin, Jasmine, Zelly, Rapunzel's daughter, Faye. You know, like, we have all these new characters. Uliana, like, what happened to her? Are we ever gonna know? Like, and I just feel like they just included them to have like the you know, like the name, like, ooh, Uliana, ooh, Rapunzel, ooh, Aladdin, Jasmine, like, but they didn't really do anything with those characters. It felt really rushed, and it felt really like flat. So, like, they didn't actually have any development whatsoever. Oh my god, it sucks so much. But it was, I mean, I guess it was fun to see them for what it was worth. But I do wonder like what they'll do with the fifth movie, because apparently this movie was just it feels rushed because it is rushed. This is basically just like part one of like a bigger storyline that's gonna continue in a fifth movie, and then perhaps like a trilogy overall. I don't know what's gonna happen, but yeah, I hope that the fifth movie will be better, like a better story, because overall it was a fun watch for sure. If you're a Disney Descendants fan, it will scratch that itch a little bit, but it's definitely not better than the trilogy. And I would say it's yeah, I would rank the movies like the first one is the best, the second one second best, the third one, oh my god, actually yeah, I guess I would rank them in the order of when they released. So yeah, the fourth one, I guess I like the least, but it's still good, it's still fun, it's serviceable, it has a good layout for future movies to, you know, work upon, you know, like build onto. So I just hope that the fifth and sixth movies, whenever they do come out, inevitably are better than this fourth one. But it was good, you know, it was good. It was a good fourth installment for sure. It does set up tons of new characters, but I do wonder, does that mean that Brandy and Rita Ora will appear again in their respective roles in future movies? I wonder. Or will every subsequent movie be about other new protagonists? I don't know. I would love to see like other new characters, but maybe no time travel, because I do feel like time travel plotlines are really like, I just don't like them. They confuse me. Yeah, anyways, I feel like oh my god, this video is gonna be like 50 minutes long. I talk so much. But to be fair, it is a deep dive. I feel like I just had a lot of thoughts on all of the movies. If you haven't seen any of these movies in a while, the original trilogy, and if you were wondering like to see the fourth movie, definitely like go back and watch the original trilogy and then watch the new movie. It is a fun watch. Like I do like this franchise. Like I do enjoy it. I think it does have charm even with this fourth one. I really hope that the fifth movie, whenever it comes out, I hope it's better. I hope it's better written and better executed overall. But I'm excited. I am excited also for more dolls, Disney Descendants dolls. Before watching the fourth movie, I would have been like, okay, well, do we need more dolls? And now seeing the movie, I'm like, okay, well, I guess they could make like dolls of, the other characters like Maleficent, Hades, Morgie, Hook. They probably won't, just because they are really minor characters. Maybe, but I would love to see maybe Zelly, because she has colorful hair, but again, she didn't even have line, so I don't know. But I do think the dolls are fun, and obviously this movie was fun. But again, it disappointed me a little bit, because I feel like I had high expectations. Also having seen the original movies beforehand, I was expecting like more of the same, but weirdly it's just much it's just much less. It's inferior to the original trilogy overall, but it's still good. It's just, it doesn't feel like the same level, if that makes sense. I don't know what it is specifically. I don't know what it is, but also like the filters in some of the shots, like it just feels very like faded. Like the color, like the hues feel very faded to me, which is ironic because it's supposed to be like a very bright movie. It is bright, but it's not as bright as you would think. Like it definitely feels like, at some points in some of the high school shots, the colors look very faded. So I don't know, something overall, like the rushed storyline, the really under-baked characters, just a lot of these plot holes, it really, in the long run, I just feel like the movie it could have been better. But it was still fun. But I want to know what you think, because like I feel like I have mixed opinions, but maybe it's just me. I don't know. Did everyone like the movie? I really wish we had seen the homecoming dance. Like I really wanted to see that and how it actually went down. I just feel like the stakes were like, they seem to be high, the coup and like Cinderella actually dying, but then at the end it just like, oh no, it's all fine. Like I wish that there would have been more to it, and then the story, the dance, like we never see it. Bridget, she seemed like a really fun character, but we never, just as about we're getting to know her, she never appears again. Like she's out of the movie. Like it's oh my god, like it sucks. Like there's potential here for sure. But yeah, what do you think? Let me know down below. And hey, if you've made it all this far into the video, girl, props to you. I hope you had a snack, hope you had a little beverage, okay? Hope you're chilling, doing something else, because girl, it's a ride. Like watching these movies was so nostalgic to me, but also like definitely like I just had a lot of thoughts to talk about. So what do you think? Let me know your theories and thoughts and spoiler thoughts down below. And if you are still here at the end, let me know. Comment down below who your favorite character is. Like, just let me know who your favorite character is down below, and who you wish would have had more, screen time and more development in the fourth movie, and like from the original trilogy, who is your favorite character. But yeah, I hope you all enjoyed. Leave a like, share, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and consider becoming a member today to support the channel if you're able to, and of course, so you don't miss out when I post more content like this coming your way and keeping you up to date with all the doll tea you love. Stay safe, be kind. I hope this next time. Stay peachy. Kisses.